Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and Marvelous Monday. I'm Leslie Watkins and today is Labor Day. It's officially the last day of summer here in the United States, but it's a gorgeous day outside and I'm looking forward to going outside and getting some gardening work done and letting the chickens out and run around. So I'm just going to do a quick video today and it's about tags. So I have my upcoming design journal workshop and I want to make a little tag for the cover. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a sneak peek as to how I'm going to go about making that. And if you're interested in learning more about the design journal workshop, please go to my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com and subscribe to notes, and that will get you on the list to receive all of the announcements for all of my upcoming holiday classes and workshops. So please do that, and there will also be a link below after I make the video. So let's get started. To make the tags, I'm going to be using these dies, tailor-made tags, and I'll zoom you in a little bit so you can get a good look at those. So this is how they come in the set. So you get various sizes of 2 different tag tops, and then you also have these dies that allow you to make the reinforcements to make sure that that hole is nice and sturdy. And I'm also going to be using my cut and emboss machine, and I'll give you a good look at that as well. So here it is. So basically it's a rolling bed that passes through these this section that applies a lot of weight, a lot of pressure, so that it can cut and emboss through paper, cardstock, maybe even some light felts and other materials. And I'm also going to be using the stamp set Beauty of Tomorrow. I'm going to decorate my tag with this little bird, and this set comes available in a bundle, so you can also get these die cuts, and there is a die that will cut that little bird, but I've already done that ahead of time, so we're not going to need this immediately. And I'm going to be doubling up my tags so that they're nice and strong. And to do that, I'm going to cut out multiples, and I'm not sure exactly what colors I'm going to be using, so I'm just going to grab some scraps. So this is Early Espresso, so I'll grab a couple of those, and I also have some cinnamon cider, and let's see, I've got a piece of thick, very vanilla. But I'm going to cut that down so it's a little bit easier to manage. So I'll just cut this at about 2 inches. And that should be fine. Okay. I'm just looking. Okay. Alright, so now to decide which top I'm going to use. Well, I think I'm going to keep it simple. And I don't want it to be too big I'm going to be using the second largest of the standard top tags. And I'm going to run this through the machine. So there's one. And you can see it gives you that very nice stitch detail around the edges. And I'll go through with the cinnamon cider. And I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 of these. I have a feeling I'm gonna end up with this as the top of my tag. So I want that to be a double layer thick. And finally, I have my early espresso. And I think that's going to do it. I think that'll be enough. All right, then let me just put this away. There is another stamp set that I want to grab. I just want to see if this is going to fit on here. This is called Heartfelt Wishes, and there is one here that says with gratitude. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the word gratitude. So I'm only going to use a partial area of this stamp. And I'm going to use this with my Versamark because I want to have this heat embossed on my tag here. So let me get a block. And I'm just going to mount that on there. Get that kind of centered on the block. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a Post-it note and I'm going to cover up much. Okay. And I'm going to stamp that up. I'm going to remove the Post-it note and I'm going to get this lined up on my tag. Okay. I'm using the gold embossing powder. Make sure there's plenty on there. It looks good. All right, now I'm going to get my heat tool out, and this is going to make a little bit of noise. Hey, Linda, Teresa, nice to see you. Happy Labor Day. I hope you've got something fun planned for today. All right, I'm going to mute you now. All right, so there is my heat embossed label with gratitude, and I think that looks really nice. I have to confess, this set, this heartfelt wishes, I love the script on this, and there's a lot of really nice sentiments, but as soon as I saw that word gratitude, I knew I had to have it. So but you can see there are a lot of wonderful sentiments, and I love this extra flourish that they have, this kind of tail at the beginning and the end of each word. I think that's going to look really great on the holiday card, so I'm looking forward to using that. All right, so there's my gratitude tag, and then I have my cinnamon cider. So I'm just going to go ahead and find a glue that hopefully has some glue in it. Trying to use up all my glue, every last drop from the bottles, and I've got about 3 or 4 bottles here, and I never know what's going to happen when I pick one up. Okay, so then you'll notice on your tags that there is the upside and the downside, and I'm putting them together so that the right side is facing out both ways. Okay, and then I want to give that a good burnish and smooth out any glue lines. So there is a very nice, sturdy little tag. And then I'm going to take this one and I'm going to use the Very Vanilla as an area to write a message if at some point I want to give this book away to somebody, or include some other message on there. That lined up nicely. So there we go. So there are my 2 tags. Okay, so we've got this one that's going to be the outside or the top side of the tag. And then we've got an area for the message, and then I have the word gratitude on the back of the other one. Now what I want to do is decorate the area on this tag. Excuse me. And so to do that, I have these cute little birds that I showed you from that stamp set. And what I've done is I've already stamped and punched them out, but then I also added the shimmery crystal effects to give it a nice glossy coating. It's got a kind of a 3D effect. And I've got a couple of birds. Let me see which one I like better. I think this one looks pretty good. Actually, they both look pretty good. All right, I'm going to stick with that. And I've got some other little odds and ends in here. So here is a label that I die cut out and sponged and stamped with that larger stamp, and I'll show you which one I'm talking about. That's this one, okay, and that gives a very nice effect here. So that could be nice with my little bird. Let me see what else I have. I have a little die cut here. That could be nice. So I'm just playing with whatever scraps I have in my collection here of little bits and pieces. That's kind of fun. Let's see. All right, I think I'm going to stick with those for now. I'm also going to check the ephemera pack that came with the suite. Here I've got some other birds. These are stamped. So here's one that's stamped in cinnamon cider. Let me see that one. Oh, I like that. And oh, what does this do for us? Oops, sorry, I'm off screen here. Let me zoom you out a little bit so you can watch me as I rummage. You know, I've saved all of the little pieces that I've cut apart from some of these things, and they're perfect for something tiny like this. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got so far. I want to use some of that gold thread. So I'm going to get that out of the box. Okay, I've got all my pieces. And also, I'm just thinking, the cover of my journal is going to have some of that watercolor design that I made with this paper. So I might want to tear off a little piece of this. Let me try that. Okay, I'm just going to move these things out of the way here. Let me just see how wide my tag is. This journal that I'm working on for the Design Journal workshop has 8 signatures in it, and each signature is going to have a different card design as well as some additional pages for further decoration and for writing. So there will be a total of about 64 pages throughout the book. And on some of them, well, I'm using a lot of different techniques, and I'm keeping a color palette constant all the way through it. And these colors that I'm using here today are part of that color palette. And I'm doing that because I want to keep the whole thing coordinated so that it comes together as one cohesive design. Now, you, the people who decide to join me in the workshop, will learn how to make the journal itself, but you can decorate it any way you like, and I will be giving you more guidelines and things that you can start to think about to prepare for that class in the next announcement. So I'll put that up again, dandelioncottagedesign.com, and subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage, and that is my newsletter, and that also gets me on the list, or gets you on the list, I should say, so that you can get all of the information and announcements as we get closer to that date. All right, so I'm just using the cinnamon cider ink to sponge the edges of this little scrap. Okay, and that's going to go on there just like that. And let's see what else we've got here. I don't think we need this. I'm going to save that for another time. I think I'm just going to keep this kind of simple. And I'm just going to add some of these beautiful little golden leaves. So let's see, I kind of like, I got ink on my, it's okay. Just go around, give that a little more ink. I really like this this die set with these tags. I'm getting a lot of mileage out of it, and I especially think it's nice when you double them up and you get something. It almost feels like a little suede tag, which is very nice. All right, now let's see what we've got here. That looks nice. That one's covering up too much of what's behind it. That one gets lost on there. I'm going to go with this one. But before I do that, I'm going to wrap some of the gold thread around here. So I'm just going to cut 2 little V-shape darts. And I'm going to take my ribbon, or my thread I should say, and I'm just going to wrap that around a few times. Three times. And I'm tying that with a knot. Okay, that's good. And actually I'm going to leave a longer tail on this one. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue this. And this is the 90-pound watercolor paper. So this is also going to help to add more thickness to the tag and give it that really nice substantial feel to it. There we go. All right, now my very fine gold decoration here. And you know what, I'm going to tear this apart. I'm going to snip it because I want the leaf to be a little bit better positioned. So I'll zoom you into because it's so tiny so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm just putting a tiny drop of glue on the ends of each one of these places. A little bit here. And I'm going to grab my tweezer. And I want these little things to be off to the side, something like that. Okay. And my little bird is going to be down here. So this leaf, snip off that stem. And just picking up the glue and moving it over to that other area. So if the bird's down there, this can go something like that. I just want to make sure that these pieces that go outside of the watercolor are stuck down well. I don't want them catching on anything and pulling off, so I'm just giving them a little extra press. Now, For the bird, I'm going to get some glue dots out. And what I'm doing is I'm taking a glue dot and I'm just placing that right in the center, and I'm going to take this long tail and I'm just going to loop that through that glue dot a couple of times. Okay, something like that. And then I'm going to put plenty of glue on my little bird. And get that positioned just as I want it. And this is kind of bulky, so I'm going to hold this down for a few minutes. Till that gets set up. All right, excuse me, it's starting to set now. Coffee time. Oh. Oh, look, there's a lot of folks here. Hey, Carol, Jocelyn, Abby. Hey, y'all. What are you doing inside on a beautiful day like today? I'm happy to see you. Yeah, it does look like leather. And it feels like leather. It's even though it's just the cardstock. You know, there are other materials that you could use. There are some various things, like I'm thinking of Craftex, which is a paper product that washes and feels like leather. That would be awesome for these tags. The cork would be a lot of fun. I just need another little dot of glue here to hold this wing down. Now, if you have to get into some of these little places with glue, it helps to save these little scraps of cardstock. I keep a selection of them handy, so if I need to get into those little places, I can just slip that right in underneath there and add as much glue as I need. Okay, now I'm going to snip off the knot on the end of this thread because I want this thread to unravel. I want some nice frilly little gold tassel. But that's basically it. The main thing that I have in mind here is to make sure that everything is adhered down well. I don't want any little loose edges that are going to catch on things because this is going to be on the outside of the journal, and so it's going to get knocked around a little bit. So that's going to come together with my gratitude, like so. Now I think what I will use is, what will I use? I have this beautiful gold ribbon. That could be fun. That could be nice. Let's see how that looks. I'm just going to make a little point like that by wrapping those two ends. And I'll push that through and grab it. This is the gold shimmer ribbon. I'm not sure of the exact name of it, but it's the one that comes with the Blackberry Beauty suite, which is gorgeous, which is basically what I'm using here. Yeah, I like that. So I can use this to tie on to my journal when I'm ready to do that. Now, another little trick I like to do with the tags when I'm using the ribbon. This ribbon has a little bit of spring to it, so it's kind of got some life of its own. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a glue dot, and then I'm going to raise this up a little bit and tuck the glue dot underneath there. Okay, so that when I pull this taut, that section gets tacked down, so it's not going to come loose as easily. All right, everybody. So that is the project for today. Short and sweet, but a very cute little tag. Okay, you have your place on the inside for your message, and the beautiful gratitude on the back. I hope you have a wonderful holiday weekend. I hope that you can get outside if the weather permits, and maybe have your lunch or your coffee outside before the temperatures get too low. I'll see you again on Wednesday for Watercolor Wednesday at 12 noon right here. And that's all I've got to say right now. So stay well, stay happy, and stay creative. And I will see you next time.